Should kids ask you questions, or as a parent figure, you just expect them to do this because I asked you to do it?
If you have no ambition, you just be floating through life.
No secrets between us. If you have a girlfriend, tell me.
Corporal punishment was a default. Hello beautiful people, I'm Mutombo.
And I'm Nina.
I've been a parent for a whopping 6 months.
And I've been for almost 16 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, July is going to make it 16 years.
Wow.
It's crazy.
So today we are going to be talking about the different parenting methods that we have seen across the board. Growing up, what we saw our parents and the parents of our peers do. Now that we are parents, what we're seeing our peers and what we are doing. Well, okay, I want to talk 6 months and I'm already talking about what I am doing. So we're just going to be picking out those gems and just having a discussion, right?
Yeah.
Having a discussion about these parenting methods, these approaches that we've seen across the board.
And it's important to let them know this disclaimer that it's not like we're trying to pass judgment on the parenting our parents gave us and what we are giving our kids now. It's just our own unsolicited opinions and observations around parenting.
But we do encourage you to go into the comments and leave your opinions. We are leaving our opinions here, so why not you go into the comments, drop your opinions, drop your thoughts, and we'll be looking forward to reading those. As a 16-year veteran, I want to bring up the aspect of discussing sensitive topics.
Communication.
Yes, discussing sensitive things with your kids. How do you get them to be comfortable enough to be open to you?
Okay, I'll go back to being a kid with my parents. I don't know about you, but to me they were like authority figures. So it was always so hard to
go towards them.
Exactly. Your own opinions about stuff, but they used to give us advice because I remember going to boarding school. The eve of going to boarding school was my worst times, when they call you to start giving you all those stuff. Now I appreciate it, but back then it used to be like something in your stomach.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was mostly then that we'll have those discussions. It would be rare for my mom to call me or my dad to call me to start talking. Hey, this your friend? Who is your friend in school? Stuff like that. Or for me to just go and say, hey, mommy, this happened in school today.
Yeah.
Yeah, but today, I don't know if it's because of the fact that I raised my kids alone with no assistance. 24/7 they're with me. They're so fond of me. We discuss from infants. So growing up, I think that's what helped in my relationship with them. So it's easy for me to touch on those sensitive topics.
So it's not like there's a specific day, like for example, like you said, eve of going back to school, that all this advice is poured on you.
No, there's no specific day. I always just tell them, no secrets between us, no matter what is going through. My son is 16 now. If you have a girlfriend, tell me. The same thing I tell my daughter. Don't be scared. If I hear from this now, it's going to disturb me. So I always tell them, that's, you will not imagine the things we discuss. And I like it because the way they express themselves to me as well. And I think it's because I give them that room to be open to communication with me. But not that there's a gap.
Yeah.
I'm a
so
parent.
there's respect.
Exactly.
There's open communication, but with respect.
Exactly.
I appreciate that.
And for you, what do you think? With your son just months old, how do you think it's
okay, the way me and my 6-month-old communicate, we have very open communication between us. When he says yeah, I say yeah. Anyway, jokes aside, the way I envision it, or the way I hope to raise him, I definitely want to take the approach of no secrets. And I think the easiest way to have them be open towards you is no judgment.
Exactly, yeah.
Pulling out even from the realm of parent-kid relationships, in general, if you have even a friend, for you to be able to confide in that friend, you have to know that this person will not judge you.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes we have to zoom out from that parent or authority and look at our kids more as human beings, because they are human beings.
They
are human beings.
They have
We're making
feelings
mistakes
like you. They make mistakes like you. So
yeah, exactly. I think if we think about it that way, we'll be able to better understand them. Because okay, I want to give an example of something that I witnessed.
Okay.
Right. So I was with this lady. She was with her son. The son is actually a little boy, 7-8 years old. The son came and whispered something in her ear, and then she turned and told the table what it was.
Okay.
That boy got so angry. So people weren't understanding why he was so annoyed. But I kind of understood, because I was like, okay, he told you something in your ear. If he said it in your ear, then there's a reason for why he said it.
I've experienced that as well. Yeah, I've experienced that. Honestly, I have to come to a point when you're talking in the house, please, when you go out to your friends, don't tell. And it makes sense because certain conversations we'll have in the house. Maybe you have future plans, stuff like that, and I'll tell them, please, this is just our family stuff. So they'll ask us, so why is that when we tell you our things,
you feel like you can say them?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, at the end of the day, I guess you just really have to realize that your kids are, they are their own people.
They respect you, demand from them. They also expect you to give them as well.
I think we've wrapped this up nicely. So if you've watched to this point, you've seen what we're talking about. You've seen how engaging the conversation is. I encourage you to go into the comments, drop a comment, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe at Just Nina M and at Mutombo in Progress. Subscribe to these 2 channels for many more of these insightful conversations and other fun stuff. Yeah, we're waiting for you.
And if you like this kind of collaboration, drop in the comment section what you would like us to talk on, and we're ready. So now let's talk about children's relationship with authority. What do you feel? Should kids ask you questions when you ask them to do something, or as a parent figure you just expect them to do this because I asked you to do it?
Okay. As a grown-up kid myself, personally, I was a very inquisitive kid.
Okay.
So I was one of those who always ask questions. Why is this like this? Why did you do this way? Why did you? To the point where sometimes I'll ask my mother something and she'll give me a book, say the answer is somewhere in here, just be reading. In fact, she can tell me something. She can say, go and close the pressure pot or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll stand there and be asking, what is a pressure pot? What is this? She will say, that's the dictionary there. Go and close the pressure pot. Then you come and open the dictionary. You look for the word pressure. You look for it. So I personally think allowing kids to develop that curiosity is good for them. But as with everything, balance.
Yeah. It's okay. It's even good for you to let your kids ask the whys and the hows and all. That's when you actually get to know the personality of your child. And it's from those personalities, when we get them, we know how well we can shape them.
I think it's also a form of learning, especially if you're able to also answer those questions on the spot.
That's
and say,
true.
We do this like this because...
That's true, because sometimes you realize that you always done it like this because that's how it has been done. You have never sat down to think, but why?
And how can we do it better?
Different, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I guess we're encouraging kids to ask questions.
We're encouraging kids to be inquisitive, and we're encouraging parents to let their kids express themselves so that they can better know their kids. If he's a timid one, you know how to shape him up so that he can face
the world
exactly as he's growing up. And there's also this thing of emotional support, should I put it, or gentle parenting.
I've been hearing that a lot.
In my opinion, it's like growing up, when it comes to
I don't think we experienced gentle parenting growing up.
Nothing like that.
I don't think that was a
like
thing.
that. But it's good too, because what our parents did actually worked for us, and I think that also molded us to the parents we are today. Yeah. But then life is changing.
Yeah, it was a different time.
They didn't have many options, so to them it was discipline, corporal punishment.
Yes.
But I think today we are more open, we have other ideas.
I think it's very important to know how they are feeling, and they know when you pay attention to those things. But then let me bring out the other side of this. There's that fear of raising kids who become too soft, who are not able to face the world, because the world is it's boss.
Exactly.
Yeah. How do you find balance?
This topic is really...
it's tricky.
Yeah. The society in which you live plays a very big role.
Yeah.
If we take it back home, in my hometown, within my Anglophone community, then you bring it over this way within the French speaking community, it's different. I'll put it like this: insecurity.
You mean safety, in terms of safety? Okay.
In terms of safety, you'll not be at ease to let your child play just in the neighborhood.
In the streets.
Meanwhile, in my own community, parenting is like, this is our
it takes
child.
a village,
Exactly. So you can be comfortable. Let my child go out and learn this or play, just interact. So now, kids who grow up in that kind of community, they're tougher to me. they're tougher when it comes to them facing the world, unlike kids who grew up in the enclosed environment.
Yes.
So to me, survival instincts between the two is higher than this way. But I understand it's just because of the society, the fact that you don't even have those neighborhoods that have a lot of space for kids to play. So it's always like indoors, anything indoors, and it's limited. What you do indoors is limited to what those games we play.
I know. There's a pertinent question that we have had in previous generations, in our current generation, and I'm sure this is going to be a question that parents to come will be asking. We know that you cannot raise a child without punishing them.
It requires a lot of patience, which we don't have. Spare the rod and spoil the child. Yeah.
This leads us to the question at hand. How do we punish children when they deserve it, of course? Corporal punishments or alternative punishments? That's a discussion that has been ongoing. In fact, while in secondary school, we used to discuss among ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, will you beat your children? I always used to say I will beat my children.
Careful.
But
societies differ on that. Certain societies frown against
exactly.
them.
I know.
I'm just saying it there, as we put the disclaimer at the beginning. It's important that we remind them that we are not trying to portray a particular pattern on parenting. We're just giving our opinions, observations, where we can make it better.
Yes, and what gems we can take from each different method.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, each different approach. So anyway, I was saying that I used to say I'm going to beat my kids, but now that I have one,
so precious,
I don't know if I can. And also, I don't know if that's actually the best form of punishment.
Yeah.
So now I'm asking you, how do you think this particular thing can be approached?
Okay. You said when they deserve, when it's needed, when it's important. It depends on the situation. Not anything that your child will do that you think merits correction. Let's say correction, not punishment. That merits correction. Then you think you just need to
remove your rod.
It depends on the child as well, because if you have studied your child, you already know your child. Even as a baby, certain words you use when he's fidgets and you say no, stop this, he knows that you have said. I mean, if you can train a dog to understand stop, sit, stand, what more of a child? Yeah, so I think it stems from that. But to me, of course, at times when
the hand passes,
yes, just like that. But it's not
default.
Yeah,
it's not a default go-to.
Especially when it comes to a child's character. When you see a child developing, there are different character traits that they're going to show you, and there are different ways in which they will respond to correction. So when it comes to that time that I tell you, one, you won't talk like that again, don't do this, and I take time to explain to you. But if I do it once, second time, third time, I mean, I think it's fair.
It's fair to move on to the next stage.
Well,
the next stage of correction.
Next stage of correction.
We grew up going to schools where corporal punishment was a default.
Yeah.
That's why back then when they used to ask me, it was just so normal for me to say, oh yes, I'm definitely going to beat my kids. Not beat without reason and not beat anyhow. Beating is only on the palms.
Yeah.
But yeah, we grew up with that system where do anything that merits punishment, they just...
You fail your test.
Yes, they bring out a cane and they give you strokes on your hand. Now I'm hearing that there are some schools that frown on that. They don't allow beating anymore. And I'm assuming that if they've come to that consensus, then studies must have been done to show that the best route may not be corporal punishment.
Alternatives. What alternatives do you think they use?
I don't know what the schools use, but what I've seen online is take away your say phone privileges, TV privileges. I guess this is where you have to tailor it to your child.
Exactly.
It's tricky, isn't it?
It's tricky.
It's tricky.
But there's also this thing I do, the silent treatment.
So explain how that goes.
Well, my daughter she's cling to me and she likes the world's attention. Yeah, and she hates it when you beat her. That's when you see that she might cry, not because what she did was wrong, but for the fact that you touched, you actually beat. How can you? So sometimes we want to punish her. She'll say, please punish us, punish me, don't hit me. So I learned early that hitting her
it's not the way.
It's nothing. So I just give her the silent treatment. It could go for a week. She talks to me. I just act like there's somebody around me.
And for somebody who actually
I want to
loves
I want to send. I'm in the kitchen working. I call him my son. Then it extends even to allowance. That period I'm not getting any allowance because you don't exist.
I think withholding allowance is a separate form of alternative punishment on its own.
So you see, she'll have a discussion with her brother, gonna complain. I'm talking to mom, she's not even answering me. And he'll come and meet me.
So what's going on with you?
Just. And I tell him she knows what to do.
Yeah. And what does she need to do?
She comes, he apologizes. That's when we have that discussion. I let her know, I've told you that this attitude is not good because of this. You're taking resolutions now on how you're going to change it, and I want to see you change it. There are many ways I do it. This is allowance thing. There are certain times when she talks, some words that she will use to her brother, for instance. I don't want to hear that word. But she keeps on. I say, okay, you know what? For each time you use that word, I'm rewarding your brother 500 francs. And each time she does, hey, I owe you 500, I give. Each time I give. She suddenly stopped. Then she came and said, you know what? Do you know that period that you put that 500 thing? You really played on me, and I got so conscious of the fact that I used that word and I had to actually stop it. Because you'll be going for your brother is enriching him. So and I think it actually works. It makes you conscious of what comes out. Remember?
So I think they've come to look at us. We've been talking about correcting our kids.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the parents who are on the wrong. So how do you approach that? Like, how do you... Because like any relationship, it's a two-way street. Like,
so me, I just have to wrap my tail and apologize.
That's it. That's actually the only way.
I'm really sorry I did it that way. Next time I won't. I don't try to justify that it's because. No, I just it's important. It's very important.
Being able to apologize is a
acknowledge where you're wrong.
Yes. It's a foundation in any relationship. Parents, friendships, romantic relationships. Whatever the case.
Yeah.
Well, I've never had to apologize. No, I've had to apologize to
baby.
Yes, to baby Ezra. I've had to apologize to him even though he's 6 months old.
And it's important. It's very important. Sometimes you think that they don't understand, but they do. They cannot talk, but their senses are very, very, very sharp.
I don't know why, but TikTok has become my new motherhood compass. Well, not that I follow it religiously, but at least that's where I go for ideas.
Yeah.
Especially regarding food. When I go on TikTok and I see a video of a baby, say a 7-month-old baby, and I enter the comments, people are complaining, oh, my baby doesn't yet do this, but she's already this number of months. So even below 1 year old, there's already that pressure that parents have put on themselves and on their kids for performance. There's the academic pressure. We want the best grades. And then when you move on to your career in later stages, there's that expectation that you need to at least start earning something chunky. So while it is good to be ambitious, because if you have no ambition, you'll just be floating through life. So while it is good to be ambitious, how do we draw the line between actually encouraging your kids and putting that pressure on them?
We spoke earlier about trying to know your child's personality, so that way you know their abilities. Every child is different. Every child is built different. And there are some kids that will excel maybe in activities, move faster,
like the physical.
The other kids, they react faster to instincts,
like street smart.
Exactly. So when it comes to academics, it's true, it's quite different from back then. And this thing of I want my child to be first, you know that thing that they always say, 80s parents, everybody was first. So who was second, who was third? It's good. Everybody wants a child,
the best for their,
who is excelling in school. They are calling the first, it should be my child. But we also need to understand that academics is not the only thing that will guarantee success in a child. For instance, look at yourself, look at your mates. Me, for instance, I like writing a lot. I remember this phrase I wrote, like, our lives are built in a way that it complements where you're lacking, I fill up, and where you're lacking, I fill up.
I love that.
And it came up because it was that kind of pressure. I grew up After school, I got married earlier than most of my mates.
Okay.
So you see someone will just sit very comfortable and call, don't you think you should be doing this? Have you applied for this thing? Don't you think you should write in this concours? Like, I'm here, I have a baby, I'm raising that baby.
Yeah.
This is your own time. If it's school you are going to, okay, go to school.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we'll meet at the point. Do you understand? So to me, it comes as life moves on with everybody.
Yeah.
But there's no need for all that pressure. Encouraging a child is a different thing. But trying to be so competitive in a way that is unhealthy.
Unhealthy. I think that's the
That's when it's
that's
wrong.
the key.
So it's a very tricky thing. It's about guidance too, and it's important that we try to find out those qualities in our kids, the areas in which they excel. Those are the areas we need to tame.
And those areas must not necessarily be academic.
Exactly.
Like,
That it doesn't
arts.
guarantee success at all.
Yeah.
For me, when I sit now and I look at life, it's different from the way I feel kids now look at it.
Yeah.
Back then, all those people that were always, they're not the ones with the best jobs. They're not the most wealthy.
See, you know how we used to look at crafts, right? Crafts. Me personally, I'm a very crafty person. Like, anybody who went to school with me will know that I used to gum, cut, paste, mend my shoes, do all of that. But then you go into academics and then you're just so one track minded. You're just thinking, okay, office job, corporate. And then now when you look at those who really leaned into their skills, voila, their talents, their skills. Some of the highest earners that I know are tailors, those who have got into carpentry.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, is their skills and what they can do with their hands that are putting them at the forefront, earning them lots and lots of money. And also there's also the fulfillment that comes from doing something that you know that is a God-given talent. I personally believe that everybody should have at least the
something
foundation.
Unique.
No, at least the foundation,
the
like
foundation.
Go at least up to advanced level. Yes, just so that you can position yourself among your peers, but not to ignore your skills.
I think our parents never believed in stuff like this.
Anyway, I will not
they had the
blame them.
traditional way, like school, after that university, concours,
job, concours,
matricle. You don't have a matricle, but it's fine. It worked for them.
Exactly,
and they did that
for
out
them.
of love because that was the only system they knew.
Security was what they wanted for us. The economy is very different.
I think that they did not exploit talent or skill because they didn't know how to value them, like a financial value. We know how much to place on.
And I think that's why now when we think of plumber, we think okay, you're not high earning. But if you go into other economies, you go to the US, those are the plumbers, AC technicians, basically anybody who knows a trade. Those are the people who are the wealthiest. They are valued. Another thing that I want to point out is we are in the social media age.
Yes.
Where if you have your small business, you can easily boost yourself.
Paying extra for marketing, the adverts, nothing.
Yes.
And do it yourself.
You go out, you go beyond your immediate circle.
Exactly.
People can find you. This generation has that advantage of being more exposed. At least now we know that okay, there's not just one path to success. Speaking of expectations, there's this other issue that we touched on a bit, but I would like us to go a bit further into it.
Okay.
Comparing your child to others, even if it's their siblings. This whole thing of this person is doing this or this person is like this. Why are you not like this? Go.
Is there anything like healthy comparison?
I think not comparison, but more like showing example, right?
Like a role model.
Role model. Okay, so how? Let me see. Guys, you
guys
guys are watching us live, trying to formulate this thought.
It's so sensitive.
Yes,
that's the problem.
The fact of the matter is, when you're raising your child will not be perfect. There are things that other children will do that are definitely a good example that your child can follow. But how to make that child
follow,
see,
understand,
look that see,
understand that
that example. See that example and understand that, oh, that's the correct way to do it. Yes, without feeling like you're putting both of them on a balance and saying, oh, this one is better than this one. I guess it comes down to the language that we use when addressing these things with the children.
Yes, that's it.
This particular thing that this person has done is good. What do you think? Can you do that? Or can you,
even
follow
when it comes
that example?
to the education, just start the conversation like, what do you want to become in future? Okay, so you're orientating them now to what they want to become, and it will surround what they are studying. Or you get it when the child understands you and sees where you're going. We need to work to get this kind of grades. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. It's a family effort.
Exactly.
It's a group effort.
We need to work to get this kind of thing.
Yeah.
You have really called his attention. You see, like, this person, this is what
they did.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think
this is how they got here. This is the path they took.
The child already starts looking towards that person like a role model, and you might not know you just decide to call, please, can you help me? How did that's already you creating a very healthy competition between kids. That is, he aspires to be this person. Unlike coming to say, this thing you are doing, are you sure you will have this kind of grades that this person had to go to this place?
Yeah, I guess as long as you don't make your child feel like you're actually saying this other person is better than you. Even me at my big age of you guys know my age.
Are we talking ages now?
At my big age, I don't like to even be compared to.
No, I don't like it
to any.
I don't think anybody likes. I don't think anybody should be in that position where you're being compared, because
it's not
like I said, we complement each other. It can never be possible that everything you have I have. No way. Then what's life for? Why do we need people?
Why do we need each other?
We really need to know where to draw the line.
Yeah, we live in a society where even within our small communities, there's a lot of diversity. Kids are so different. People are so different. So we have realized that you cannot take a one-size-fits-all approach to this parenting thing. Parenting needs to be done on a case-by-case basis. I think it's only when you actually meet your child that you know what is best.
There's no perfect anything.
Yes.
No perfect parent, no perfect child. Children go through their stages differently. When I had my babies, I noticed a change in behavior. After every 2 weeks, something new comes up.
So you're adapting your parenting to each stage, to each situation. I think that's a good conclusion. After everything that we have discussed today, after all the opinions have flown back and forth, honestly, one thing that I have to say is our parents did a fantastic job. Excellent job. Look at us.
We are well grounded. We don't need them now to put those rules. Don't. We know them already. So I think it's thanks to that foundation.
Yes.
If we're having this conversation, it's just that we are looking at changing times, which means that old systems would not necessarily totally work now. We need to pour into it to make it richer every day.
I couldn't have said that better myself.
This was nice.
Yes, this was really nice. I think it's an ongoing conversation. It's not a conversation that you just have and stop. Because even the next generation, our kids will sit down and say, okay, what did our parents do and what can we carry on to our own parenting experience?
Share your experiences with us.
Yes,
we really like to read from you all.
I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please, like we said, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. Just Nina M or Nina Che, and I forgot my own name. And Mutombo in progress, or Mutombo with a heart. So
we'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you in the next.
Well, let's hope.
We'll see you in the next one. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, guys.
Okay, bye. I'll not have been ready by the time you guys are ready.
It doesn't make up.
Oh.
Yeah, good.
But I feel like it's a bit too yellow. Yeah, this one. This one is too much. So finally, I think this may be the best.
This is what you started with.